Although I was my parents' seventh child, I was the first one that they could afford to bear in a hospital. More fortune came my way when at the age of 5, my entire family immigrated to the United States. There's a funny story about when we were traveling to America. My parents actually spelled my name wrong on official documentation, so I'm one of the few people that can claim that their name is officially misspelled. Once we arrived to America, my brother and I had our eyes glued on the television set as we earnestly tried to decipher the language of our favorites like Caillou and Arthur. I'm sure I progressed rapidly through the ESOL program because Caillou and Arthur and the rest of the PBS Kids program had taught me so much English. In third grade, I was selected as a young scholar to transfer from my base school to a level 4 advanced academic school at Springfield Estates. While at Springfield Estates, I was reading challenging books such as Night by Elie Wiesel and Animal Farm by George Orwell. My favorite project that I had received while I was in elementary school was in third grade when my teacher had asked me to create my own original jingle. And I had no idea what a jingle was, so I memorized the theme song to Naruto and I presented that to the class. By the time middle school rolled around, I had begun to understand the system. I was getting better grades, so much so that I had even applied to Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology. To my disappointment, I wasn't accepted to this school, but I went to my base school, which was Mount Vernon High School, and I never looked back because Mount Vernon High School has been such an excellent school to me. While I was at Mount Vernon, I had an amazing counselor who had recommended that I take the 7 hardest IB classes that my school offered. I was hesitant to take him up on his offer because I didn't think I could succeed at such a highly challenging environment such as that. I thought that there was a tangible difference between my brain and the brains of my classmates. I thought some of my classmates had an extra limb that enabled them to have superior math performance. So tangible was my fear that I went to the IB coordinator at my school and I asked him, and what are the easiest IB classes that I can take? But over the summer, I spoke to a person at church who told me that I should take the most challenging classes available to me because he told me that many of my fellow youth in Ethiopia would have loved to be in my position and would love to take challenging academics. So I wanted to make most of this opportunity that I had, so I emailed my counselor and I told him, place me in the most challenging IB classes that you have. And, you know, I was very scared going into my junior year, but at the end of junior year, something opposite of what I had expected happened. I was getting pretty much mostly all A's in my classes. I was going to state science fair. I was succeeding. You know, the chains in my brain, which were my sense of inferiority, had loosened. I was no longer doubting my potential. Instead, I was exploiting my potential. No longer did I think I was going to be the dumbest in the class. Instead, I would try to be the smartest in the class. Every success that I received, instead of quenching my aspirations, it had kindled it. I wanted to be the smartest, you know, and this drive, it had transferred outside of my academic life. Another motivation of mine is that, you know, partly into high school, I realized that I was paying the highest tuition. I realized that, you know, surely I was going to public school. I wasn't paying monetary tuition, but I wasn't paying monetary tuition, but I was paying an emotional price, a high emotional price. And that price was separation from my parents. While I was going to school here, my parents were in Ethiopia. So I was being separated from those who reared me just for my education. So I had to succeed in my education. I had to excel in my academics, or else I would be letting them down. I would be letting myself down as well. So I had to succeed. And in late March, I was accepted to 15 colleges, 7 of those being Ivy League universities, and also Stanford and University of Chicago. This fall, I'll be starting at Harvard University as a freshman. Surely it was not in vain.